with the release of Railway Extraction coming up soon, I want to give you guys my thoughts on teams that will make the most sense going into the dungeon. I'll give you guys a simple team building guide, as well as options that you can use potentially for yourself. I'll be walking you through the thought process so that way you can build teams based off of what characters you have. And I'll be showcasing these 3 teams right here. We're going to have a Omega Pay to Win team, a no 3-star team, and a base Sinner team. So let's go right into it. The first team that I have is obviously my strongest team that I'm currently using. And you might be saying, why don't I use the other Sinners here? You know, I could use Otis, my other versions of Otis, or I can use Blade Lineage Saosu. The reason why I don't do that is because I want to have a team that's flexible but very synergistic. So I currently have 3 synergies here. We have N-Corp, we have N-Corp units, we have the core of a Rupture team, and we also have the core of essentially a Bleed team. And that's what we have here. So we have a very strong core team right here. And the rest of the characters are more like flex slots. Faust, Don Quixote, Otis, Sinclair, these are my flex units that I have mainly to be able to just progress through the content. Don Quixote, I only have her base one and I only have her stronger one right here, so obviously I'm going to use the stronger one. But outside of that, that's the main of the team. To give you an example of a team that I would be using, say if I wanted to use an N-Corp team, I would be using these 3 units obviously, but I want to be able to round out the affinities so that way I'm not completely screwed. If I really wanted to, I could go full Unga Bunga damage and just go bleed and round it out, but you'll notice that I don't have any Gloom, and you can play it without using any Gloom. You're going to lack certain egos you can use, but for the most part, you can funnel yourself into other egos. Another option is you can use Heathcliff with LCCB Ishmael, and that rounds out your team much better in terms of affinities. Another option is this. If I choose not to use the N-Corp core, then I'm going to be using, say, Bleed. If I use Bleed, I can use these main characters for my Bleed comp, right? And then I can go full Bleed and just avoid any of, you know, the other characters where I can give myself Gloom. But since I don't have Gloom, I kind of want to apply Gloom. So potentially, instead of going full Bleed, I could get rid of, say, Heathcliff, throw in LCCB Ishmael, and that will round up my team comp a little bit better. Or another option is just to go without Mersault, and I can say slop in good old Rodion here, take away Heathcliff and LCCB Ishmael. And then this way we round our team comp very nicely because we're not going to be using any Sloth really. Sloth no longer becomes a resource that I really have to worry and focus on, and as a result I'm going to be able to spam more egos if I go a build like this. Another flexibility option that I have is Rupture. The core of my Rupture team would be right here. This is the core of my Rupture team. As you can see, I'm kind of missing Envy and I'm kind of missing Lust. If I throw in Faust, boom, my team is now pretty much well-rounded. So that's the thought process between being able to round out those characters. My flex slot units are basically Don Quixote, Sinclair, and also Yi-Sang. These are characters that I just have on the bench just in case something goes really wrong in the Railway Extraction, and these characters can potentially bring me back into the game if things go south terribly. Now, this is just going to be my 3-star team. Let me show you guys the 2-star team. And if we take a look at this team, we can use this team here to be able to make a semi-cohesive team building. So the thought process around this is with the release of 3-star Otis, we're going to gain access to 2-star Honglu. Most likely, what you can do is you can pull for Honglu and get his 2-star variant very easily, but let's just say for the sake of it right now, we're not going to gain access to him. But let's just hypothetically say that this is going to be 2-star Honglu. What you could do is you could use the burn variant of him and slot in 2 other units that have burn egos. Ryoshu Ishmael have burn egos, Ryoshu Rodion has burn, and even Yi-Sang has burn. And you can slot in your characters and see that it could technically work. Another thing to know that if you don't want to go the burn build, you have the option to go into your ego build. What do I mean by ego build? If we take a look for, say for example, Pathos to Mythos, relatively speaking, this skill is very easy for Otis to just self-generate herself the affinity she needs with using the Sloth and Pride. So what you can do is just have a team where you solely focus on just having Pride and Sloth as your main attributes for your skills. And what should end up happening is you'll come up with a very stacked team here. So as you can see, if I do this, I could very much make it so that Otis is going to be able to just go hard with her ego. So this way you can almost always guarantee a guaranteed clash win for your team. But if you're looking at this and you realize, this looks very sus, I kind of want to be able to fill these to give myself the option, you can also do that by swapping in characters like this and having Heathcliff cover the slots that you are kind of missing here. And these are not fully Uptide 3 characters, by the way. These are mainly Uptide 2, Uptide 2, Uptide 2, Uptide 2. So you can make it work with Uptide 2 units, and you don't need Uptide 3. Uptide 3 obviously makes it easier for you guys, but this will make it so that you won't have to worry about it as much. And the last team is obviously our good old base sinners. Our base sinners are, I would say, on the weaker end, but you can still technically use them. And how would you use them? Well, overall, there isn't too much synergies with your base sinners because they are kind of lacking certain things, but there is still some synergy. A little synergy is with Ishmael. She does inflict tremor, and because she inflicts tremor, she can synergize with, say, Heathcliff with his tremor burst. There is the option of also rupture. This version of Gregor applies rupture, so you can use it with Otis, and those two will pair well together because they can apply rupture. And even then, you still have characters that do other stuff. Faust is a good standalone unit for buffing units, so a team comp that could work with this is having your tremor burst characters, having your rupture characters, and throw in Faust. And that in itself, pretty rounded, decent team comp. Another thing you could do is, maybe I want to play for debuffs. I'm going to use Mersault for his ego debuff, Faust for her strong kit, and then I want to use something with strong damage. So we'll just use Otis because she's a strong, decent character overall. We'll throw in Heathcliff to round out these attributes, and we'll try to round out the egos here. We probably want to say use Sinclair. Sinclair will give us a ton of pride and a ton of wrath. And overall, this could be your team comp. The composition matters a little bit, only because you do really want to have characters that synergize well with each other. And if you are lacking synergy in your team, and that at that point you want to focus on the things that you can control, which is your affinity buildup. Making it so that your affinities are a little bit more well-rounded can make it so that you cover your egos better, but you could also focus on a strategy where you totally only funnel egos for your certain character. With this setup right here, just with only the base sinners, right now I have the basis of an Otis ego spam. So if you take a look here with her ego, 2 pride, 2 sloth. And with this setup right here, I could very easily get that done on turn 1. And that means that all the following turns I'll have a guaranteed ego. So you could play the ego spam route. Obviously, these are just a few things that you guys can take a look with the characters that you do have, slot them into these templates that I have, this 2-star template, this 3-star template, this 1-star template. Play around with it. You have options, just do the best you can. I feel like this is a saying that I heard from someone before, where it's a chess reference that even though you make a mistake in chess and it is technically your fault, there's still always going to be the next best move. So just because you don't have a unit that you really want to play with, you do have options to be able to theory craft and make it so that you have different options or outs to the problem that might arise in the dungeon. With that being said though, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys are going to be using for your team comps. Let me know what your main team's gonna be. This is the main team that I'm going to be using. Let me know what the top 5 characters you plan to bring into your team is. Let me know what your best synergistic team is. Honestly, I'm saying that my best team for synergy in terms of overall covering all my bases would be a combination of this team setup right here or a combination of this right here. Overall, I honestly think that you could truly clear the railway extraction with just a team like this. Obviously stronger characters are better, but even then we'll be doing it like this. I'll most likely be trying to clear the railway extraction with a base center team only and a strong team as well, and give you guys the ability to see that it is possible to clear that dungeon with a super weak team as well as super busted team. As usual, I stream on Twitch Monday to Friday, and I also have a Discord community where we talk about all things Limbus as well as other gacha games. As usual, John Panio signing out, and I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.